Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Let Fear Bounce. This is Kim Langling, your host, and I am so glad that you are deciding to spend a small part of your day with myself and my special guest today, Reggie D. Ford. Now, I've been excited about having him on, folks, because he's a very accomplished man and has done all kinds of things. He is an award-winning keynote speaker, a TEDx speaker, an author, a best-selling author, I might add, and a passionate advocate for mental wellness and resilient leadership. With a background as a Division I football player and as a certified wellness coach, he brings real life experience and heart to everything that he shares. Through powerful storytelling and practical tools, Reggie helps people and teams build emotional strength and create safe, purpose filled spaces to thrive. His memoir, Perseverance Through Severe Dysfunction, is a moving story of healing, hope, and breaking those generational cycles. So let's jump into this inspiring conversation with my guest today, Reggie D. Ford. Welcome. Welcome to Let Fear Bounce, Reggie.
Yes, thank you for having me, Kim. It's an honor. I appreciate you.
And I appreciate you and all you've done. You're an accomplished young man, and I think that this is. I've been looking forward to this because you've got a heck of a story to tell. I want to ask. First off, you gave a TEDx speech in September of 2024, correct?
I did, yes.
So share with the folks what TEDx is and
Yep.
why you wanted to get on that red dot platform.
Yes. So TEDx is a organization. So TED is, I guess, the parent organization, and TED stands for technology. I want to say education, and the D stands for maybe design. Let's go with design. I don't know,
Let's
but
go with that. I think it sounds
yeah.
great.
So it stands for those things, but it started way back, I think, in the 80s about ideas worth sharing. And people get on stage, they give a up to 18-minute talk of ideas that they want to share. And so many people have graced the TED stage. TEDx is a for local communities, it's the branch of the big TED stage. And so TEDx Nashville, TEDx Philadelphia, there are different areas who have different TEDx's. Even certain streets have TEDx's, which is really cool. And so I was fortunate enough to give a TEDx here right outside of Nashville. And my talk was about how self-love heals what self-improvement harms. And I think it's so interesting that when you said accomplished, right? I am very accomplished, and that was a big part of the talk that I gave, was how those accomplishments came to be and what was ultimately driving me throughout my life into achieving those things. And for me, it was a lot of shame, it was a lot of insecurity, it was a lot of trauma that my response was to perform and to achieve and to get accolades, because that sense of external validation made me feel a sense of love that I wasn't receiving every day in my home. And the journey of my life, getting to a point where I went to therapy, where I started healing, I realized that I could give myself that love, that I could love the inner child that's within me. And I tell a story of meeting my inner child in therapy in my TEDx and holding him and affirming to him that he is loved, that he is worthy of all the greatest things that life has to offer, and that he doesn't need to do anything to be loved, that he is loved just for who he is. So, yeah.
Powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. Now, you just mentioned that during your healing journey, you embraced your younger self.
Mhm.
I find that so powerful, and I often wonder actually, how many people have done that because it's a tough thing to look back and talk to your younger self.
It
It's
is.
hard. I've done it. It's very, very hard and emotional and hurts sometimes.
Mhm.
Sometimes it really hurts, but sometimes you have to fight through the hurt to get to the other side. And
Yes.
so through tears, you can still smile,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And it was a few years ago, I just threw out to some folks that I knew, I said, hey, I want to do this little writing contest, 500 words max, write a letter to your 5-year-old self.
Wow.
And I didn't give really any more direction than that. Without fail, everyone who participated came back with talking to their 5-year-old self about some sort of trauma that they went through.
Mm.
and how they
Um,
made it because I'm your adult self talking to you right now and I'm
Yes.
still here. It wasn't asked, I didn't ask to share a personal story about trauma or healing or anything. I just said, share a letter with your 5-year-old self.
Yeah.
It was amazing, these letters. And I did it myself. I wrote one to myself as well.
Mm.
And I was like, ooh, ooh, that was tough.
It is.
Ooh-wee, that was tough. So, it takes, I don't know, I would say there's a little courage that's involved there, but it also takes,
Absolutely.
you said you used the word drive, um, perseverance, and you have to want it,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
and the self-love, I know for people, makes some people go, ugh,
Yeah.
makes them cringe. Self-love, ugh, self-healing, ugh, it makes them cringe. They think it's woo-woo,
Yeah. And
you
I
know,
think parts of it is like we've heard that self-love is conceited and don't be
selfish.
full of
Yeah.
yourself and don't be selfish when that's not the genuine love and what I'm talking about. It's like true love for yourself as you are. And I say, I talk about vulnerability a lot and I flex my vulnerability muscle. And the flexing my vulnerability muscle means loving all the different parts of my past. In order to love the
Mhm.
person that I am today, I have to love all those different parts of my past. And so it's self-love in a way that is authentic, that is true, that is natural, that is beautiful, and not looking at it from a conceited or vain perspective, but just what we need and desire as human beings at our core.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. And those folks that don't understand it, that's okay
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because they're not at the right place on their journey yet.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
one day they will be.
Yeah. They
Hopefully,
will.
hopefully.
They will. They will. Their soul,
Yeah.
because their soul is gonna seek it. Like if
Right.
not in this
Right.
lifetime, at some point they're gonna want it. They're gonna need it,
Their
and that's
soul's
what
going
happens.
to seek it.
Mm-hmm.
Put that on a t-shirt. I'm all about t-shirt and coffee cups. I think every show, one of my guests will say something. I'm like, oh, that's a t-shirt or a coffee cup.
There you go. Look, that's it. That's the new website. It's just all the quotes turn into
That's
t-shirts.
what I've been saying. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to turn this into a whole thing. All of my guest quotes.
Yes. Oh man.
So you had mentioned healing from your past. Now, the audience is sitting out there going, well, healing from what? He's
Mhm.
talking about healing from what? So share with what you're comfortable sharing,
Yeah.
what it is that you had to heal from. Because I mean, this show is all about keeping it real and
Yeah.
helping folks fight their fears and letting them know if they're in that same spot that they too can reach the other side. So share
Absolutely.
whatever you're willing and comfortable sharing.
Yeah, so I'm an open book, literally. So I'll share it all. Well, in the time that we have. I think a big part of my story is just unaddressed trauma from my childhood.
Mhm.
And I didn't realize it. I don't think many people realize that trauma in childhood can equate to the health and the ways that we think and the personalities that we develop later on in life. And I had experienced a great amount of trauma from physical abuse, emotional abuse, and neglect and sexual abuse even. And I had a father who was in prison. I didn't have the supportive people around me that poured into me, nurtured me. I did a lot of raising myself,
Mhm.
and that was hard. That was difficult, and I had to grow up quickly. People often tell me that I'm wise beyond my years, and I challenge them to think about what type of life leads to a person being wise. That comes from experience and experiencing so many things within the home, outside of the home, inside the home with drug abuse around and domestic violence, and then outside the home. I think I was 14 when one of my best friends was murdered, and just like having to deal with multiple instances of things like that without anybody to talk to, without anybody to turn to, and even worse, being told that I don't have to, I can't show emotion around those situations. I
Um,
can't be emotional. I can't cry. I can't be a pussy or whatever. Like
yeah.
these ways of stealing my humanity away from me. And that is what I did for 2 decades. I pushed it down. I suppressed and suppressed, and I used the pain that I felt because I was feeling pain, but I tried to numb it. And I put that into the accomplishments, the drive, the work, the do, and I wasn't being. And so I think the greatest part of it all was getting to a point of awareness and having the sense of knowing that I needed to be a little bit more. I had to heal. I had to fight for my humanity again and express my emotions because we're emotional creatures.
Right. It,
Yeah.
wow, that's powerful. You just said that you had to fight for your humanity again
Yeah.
because you
Because
had to stuff all
society,
of
yeah.
that for so many years.
Yeah, I think society for everyone, but I think particularly when you start to look at the intersectionality of my identity, being a young black man, men aren't told to be emotional. We're told the opposite. And that is a very hard thing when I feel these emotions. Like you
Right.
said earlier, like we must feel the feelings that we need to feel in order to heal. That's what I believe. We have to feel those things. And if they're hard, if they're painful, if going back and talking to your inner child hurts, like there's a reason it hurts. And
Right.
hurt doesn't mean run away from it. It means how can we figure out how to heal it?
Right.
You cut your arm or you break your leg, it hurts, but that doesn't mean just ignore it because it'll get worse. It
That's
means
right.
to attend to it. And so
That's
that
right.
the emotional pain is the same way.
Because hurting sucks.
Mm-hmm.
All there
It
is to
does.
it. So you avoid
That's
it.
the t-shirt right there.
Yeah.
Boom. Hurting
It's another
sucks.
t-shirt.
For real.
But it does. It's awful. It's awful.
Yes.
But if it helps you feel better in the long run,
Yes.
and I know people are out there going, yeah, easy for you to just sit there and say that.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, Reggie just shared part of his story, and you just generalized that. I'm sure there's
Yeah.
a
Oh
whole
yeah.
lot in there, folks.
Oh yeah.
I have my own story that is dark, and we all have it. And you will have something in your life that might knock you on your butt or bring you to your knees.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because life is
Sure.
hard and sometimes it
It
hurts.
hurts.
But, I don't know. There are times in my life, and let me know. Well, no, yours, you just explained it, how from a very young age, you pretty much were just told to suck it up, buttercup.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Rub some dirt on it. Keep going. Like,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
And I
And
think one
that's
of the
hard,
things, yeah.
at a young age, because you did not have the ability to process, the ability or the years. you know
Yeah.
you were too young to be able to know how to process much of, even at 14 when you lost your best friend to murder, and all of the
Mm-hmm.
stuff that you had been going or were currently going through. You didn't know how to process it. Did you? Well, I guess you did. You had to flick a switch because you said you had to find your humanity again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I did.
share with, when you had to flick a switch, did you realize, was there a time when you're like, I can't even think or deal or look at this stuff anymore. That switch is flicked. And now I just don't care.
Um, I think when I discovered that there were more parts of my humanity that weren't being recognized, that was I was probably 28 years old, and it came right after experiencing the worst mental health of my life. I was playing with my dog. I had not slept in about 30 days, just from anxiety and triggers and a lot of grief that was happening. I had lost my two people that were the true nurturers in my life were my grandparents, my dad's parents, and they had died 6 months right after each other. And I didn't know where to turn. I didn't know where to go. I didn't even my coping mechanisms weren't working anymore. And so I was playing with the dog, a little puppy at the time, and I was laughing at first, and then I started crying, and then I just like had this rush of emotion that started to pour out on the floor. I was crying, I was laughing, I was screaming. I only thing I remember from that, like truly remember is these lucid moments of going, I don't know what I just said. And then going into this tirade of just
Yeah.
word vomit and emotion vomit.
I'm gonna start crying.
Yeah.
I'm
And
telling you, I've been there
mm,
on
I'm
my
so
knees on the floor crying and not even just you don't even know you're just
yeah.
what?
Yeah. And I had this out of body experience where I saw myself and I didn't recognize that. I didn't recognize that person that I had become because in my eyes, again, I didn't know about my trauma. I
Oh
didn't know
gosh, okay.
it
I'm
was
thinking
real.
crying. Gosh darn it.
It's all right. Tears are the release
Wow,
valve of
no,
the
it's just
heart.
I can
Yes.
feel that. I understand you. I can relate
Yes.
to that so much.
Yes. And that moment was a turning point for me because I had this out of body experience where I saw myself and I said, how in the world did you end up here?
Yeah.
And my journey since then has been answering that question, uncovering that trauma, healing that trauma, loving myself through it all. And that has been that switch has stayed on. Like to know that I deserve the love that I pour out into the world, that I deserve all the greatest things that life has to offer. Like that is what keeps me going because that's what the self-love does. Like instead of oh, I'm gonna eat better because I need to lose weight. No, I'm eating better because I love my body. I love
Yeah.
myself. I love my heart. I love my organs. I love all those things about me and I want to be around. And so that is what the self-love does. And for me at least. And so yeah, that's how I want people to feel and encourage people to do that because I don't think we get told that story enough.
I agree. I don't think we do.
Yeah.
And I don't, well, and I also think it might be generational.
Yeah.
There's certain generations where the parents were not demonstrative, you know,
Hmm.
not a lot of hugging and all of
Yeah.
that. It was just like work, work, work. You've got your chores, you do this. Everybody's got their, it's just what they knew
Mm,
and how they raised their kids, you
mm,
know. So a lot of that, like you were talking about younger, at least how I see it, your emotional, how you view the world is formed at an early age in the household that you're growing up in. And you said
yeah.
you were 28 when you found yourself on your knees.
Yeah.
I was in my mid 30s,
Hmm.
and
Mm,
it's like an epiphany and this massive breakthrough and hurts like heck,
yeah. It
So you took that, you spewed all that mess
does.
out,
Yeah.
and that's how I always I'm like I just, like vomited all that crap,
Right. Yeah. That's what
just
it
spew
felt
it.
like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
spew it all out. And when that was done and you were more than likely physically and mentally exhausted
Exactly. Yes.
and you recouped from that, because it's a tough thing to go through,
Yes.
but you came out the other side, and is that when you're like, you know what? Enough.
Yeah. 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 You're absolutely right. I was so exhausted that though I didn't sleep for 30 days leading up to that, I slept the best night in a long time that night. I slept so good. And that next day I was like, I got to do something different. And different for me looked like saying I need help. I need help. I went to my primary care doctor. I said, I need help. I went to a grief counselor, told him I need help. That person introduced me to other therapists, and I got with a trauma therapist who I've been working with since 2021. And just so many people have poured into me in this journey. And I'm surrounded by, different types of healers in a whole bunch of different ways, whether it be breathwork specialists. I'm a yoga instructor, but yoga teachers as well, just a lot of community pouring into me, and recognizing the journey that I'm on and embracing it. And so yeah, it's been and a big part of my journey was writing. And I don't think that I realized how much I turned to writing even before I wrote the book, because in my life I had written multiple songs and I had put all these big moments in these songs of what it felt like to be 8 years old and see my dad's face on the TV and then all these charges listed against his name and knowing that he wasn't coming home. I put that in songs. I put, losing my friend, losing my cousin, losing these other people in my life in songs for a really long time. And then all of the writing was my outlet during that period of time when I didn't have many people to turn to. And that culminated into the book, Perseverance Through Severe Dysfunction. The book was Juneteenth of 2020. Wait, Juneteenth of 2021. There we go.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So
which
it's
is
been,
crazy. Like it just time flies, but yeah, and that the date of it, like being Juneteenth, Liberation Day, I wanted to show that liberation in my own journey of from normalizing unhealthy behavior that kept me shackled to realization, normalization, realization, liberation. This realization of being able to see that the things that I had normalized, the things that I accepted in my life weren't quite normal, to ultimately get into a point of liberation and being able to accept who I am, accept my story, accept life, and then get help for those things, knowing that it is all in the betterment of me and my well-being. And yeah, so to liberate from the shackles that have kept us down, that have hurt people, that have made people suffer in silence, like that is what we're breaking from. And I think our society has normalized a lot of unhealthy things.
oh yeah.
And it's like, it's time to liberate from that.
Yes. And
Yeah.
'cause truly what is normal?
Yeah.
I actually look at this, there is no normal, but there is
Yeah.
healthy and
Right.
unhealthy.
Yeah. So true.
Because
So true.
people like, well, Kim, you're not normal. Well, no, I'm not. And thank goodness for that, because what is
Right.
normal? You know, what is normal? I think this is just how I look at it, folks. There's no such thing as a normal family because what's normal to me is completely different to someone else,
Yes. So
what
true.
they perceive as normal. So I think normal is a perception, but
Yeah.
healthy and unhealthy, that's like
Hmm.
fact.
Hmm.
You're living a healthy life physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever, or you're not.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really not, it's one or the other.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And a
so,
lot of times we get sucked into the not part of it because of
mhm.
the world that we live in.
Right. And that's the part I wanted to touch on was like the world, like we can be modeled one way or another in our household. We can experience things from our parents or our caregivers. But as soon as you walk out your door, or not even, like you can turn on the TV, there are messages being sent to you that you aren't enough, that your teeth aren't pretty enough, that your skin isn't tight enough, that your hair isn't dark enough, that like all these different things of you're not enough.
Mhm.
And then you walk outside, and every time you drive past a billboard, every other car that you see, you scroll on your social media. Like there's so many instances in our society where it's telling us that we're not enough. And like the moment you realize that all of that shit is fake, like
Yeah.
all of that shit is fake. Like you don't need anything else to be
Right.
worthy. I was just telling one of my really good friends who is going through a tough time right now. Like because he was saying Kobe Bryant. He brought up Kobe Bryant, who recent couple years ago died in a helicopter accident. World-class athlete, Olympian, all of that, basketball player, and then did a lot of things outside of basketball. And he's like, I'm sitting here asking like, God, why did you take Kobe? Why didn't you take me? And hearing him say that broke my heart
Mhm.
because what I responded to him is like, Kobe's like Kobe is no more worthy than you are, no less worthy either. But just because he accomplished these things, just because he was on a different platform and made more money or like that doesn't equate to his worthiness over your worthiness. You are worthy just as you are, and Kobe is worthy. I hate that he passed away, and I don't want to see anyone die in a tragic accident like that. I want to see people live long, healthy lives. But when we bargain in that way of saying that somebody's life was more important than mine, that is just absolutely false. And so
Yes.
your life, my life, everybody's life who's listening to this, your life, you're worthy of living just because the simple fact that you are.
Right.
Period.
You are.
Period.
I am so glad that you brought that up. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because it doesn't matter the dollar signs. the house you live in, the car you drive, any of that, because you cannot take any of it with you.
Mm-mm.
You know, are you happy with yourself? Are you happy in your own life? Are you at least content? Can you find that? Everybody can find happiness, I think. It might be harder for folks.
Yeah,
Well, and I know it is. I know it is harder.
it
I'm not
definitely
downplaying
it is
anything
harder.
that anyone
Yeah,
goes through. Um,
yeah,
because no one is happy all the time every day.
right. No, no.
But to me, I'm like, if I can find contentment each day,
Mm-hmm.
to me, that's a form of happiness. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
like happy, laughing, clapping my hands all day,
Right.
every day because I'm so
Right.
dang happy. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, that's not because that wouldn't be real.
No,
That
that
wouldn't
wouldn't
be
be
real.
real. It wouldn't
Yeah.
be real. And life is bumpy, but oh my goodness, I feel for your friend that, yeah, never compare yourself to someone else because you're not on their journey and they're not
Mm-mm.
on yours.
Mm-mm. Right.
Everybody's life is different. And, no, yeah, I agree. Everybody, you're beautiful the way you are.
Yes.
And, I don't care if you've got money or you have a big old house or you drive a Porsche or the color of your skin. Doesn't matter,
Yeah.
at least to me. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter, and it should not matter.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
So if people would just listen to us, Reggie, the world would be a different place.
We need a megaphone. We need to scream it out loud.
Yeah.
Like for
Scream
real.
it from
Yeah.
the rooftops.
It would be.
Golly. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, you know?
Yeah, it would be a much better place. And I want to go back to what you said about happiness. It is harder for some people. And I think that is something that I recognized in my journey of being able to reframe, just naturally reframe things, right? My book, PTSD, it's not post-traumatic stress disorder, it's perseverance through severe dysfunction. Vulnerability muscle is reframing how we look at vulnerability as a strength. There's so many things, so many areas in my life where that just happens to be the way that I think
Yeah.
when other people take it and it's darker, it's harder. It's a struggle to see the world in a more optimistic light. And so I've just been accepted to the University of Pennsylvania's Master of Applied Positive Psychology, studying the science of happiness
Are
because
you
I,
kidding
I
me?
really want to understand what helps people
So
feel.
you're coming to Pennsylvania to go to school?
I'll be up there for a little bit. Yep.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
That's where I live. So you're
Yes.
going to main campus
Yes. So
and State
it'll
College.
be a hybrid program. So I'll be back and forth. But yeah,
Oh, how awesome, though.
yeah. Yeah.
How awesome.
Yeah,
How
you got the first
exciting.
announcement. Yeah.
How exciting. Then we're going to have you back on.
Yeah, we got to. Definitely. We'll do it.
And
We
we'll talk all
definitely.
about happiness
Yes, we
and how
can.
that can combat fear.
Yes. Oh man.
Because,
Let's go.
it's darn hard to be happy or to even smile when you're depressed.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Nothing would make you smile. You don't even
Yeah.
like humans.
Yep. Or
You
puppies or babies or
or
nothing.
anything. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like just you don't like people, anything
Yep.
living. You're just
Yep.
like, leave me
Yep.
alone. Let me stay in my dark hole. Just leave.
Yep.
Because I've been there.
Me too.
Thank goodness I didn't stay. That's
Mm.
the thing. It's okay if you sink every once in a while, because sometimes you just do.
Mm-hmm.
Stay there,
Yeah.
folks. Don't stay there.
Yeah. That's
And I
so
do
true.
want to share something. And I do when we have these kind of talks. There is a crisis hotline, and
Mm-hmm.
it's so easy to remember, folks. It's simply 988. Dial 988. You need to talk to someone you don't know where to turn, or you don't have someone, you feel that you don't have someone that you can trust to talk to and say, oh my gosh, I can't handle all of whatever's going on right now. And you find yourself on your knees crying out to whatever it is that you're crying out to. 988, folks. And if you're a veteran who's struggling, 988 plus one. So press one, and pressing one is what gets you directly to the Veteran Crisis Hotline. As a veteran myself, I'm a huge advocate for veterans, so I share that number all the time. Super easy to remember, folks. 988. There you go.
Yes. Thank you for that, Kim. I didn't know the veteran hotline, so thank you for that part.
Yeah,
That's
you just plus one, 988 plus one, get you right to the Veteran Crisis Hotline.
wow. Yeah. Thank you. Wow.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
This has been an awesome conversation, and it
Yeah.
went really fast.
Yeah.
We talked about some pretty heavy stuff. No, we definitely have to have you back on in a few months. Absolutely.
I would love to. I would love to.
So in the new year, we're gonna have you back on because I want to hear about your journey of your what'd you say it was a master class? What is it? Your
Masters of Applied Positive Psychology. The
Masters of
science of
Applied
happiness.
Positive Psychology. That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Positive psychology. Yes. We're studying happiness.
That is so awesome.
Yes.
That is so awesome. And how fun that we just kind of got that. We ended out the show and we weren't even planning on talking about happiness, but there we
You're
are.
right. Yeah.
There we are, folks. So share with folks where they can find you and all your good stuff.
Yes, so you can find me. I'm most active on LinkedIn and Instagram at Reggie D Ford. That's Reggie D Ford, and my website as well, Reggie D Ford. You'll have access to everything there, including YouTube, my Vulnerability Muscle podcast. If you search that, vulnerability muscle, like flexing that muscle. Yeah, those are some places that I hang out, and I would love to hear you, see you, reach out, leave me a message, comment, or anything.
And I was a guest on your show,
Yeah,
and it was
yeah.
quite fun. You're a wonderful host.
Well, thank you. I
So I
appreciate
encourage everybody to tune on in to that show.
it.
Tune on in. All of those
Definitely.
links and everything will be shared in the show description and all that. Now, as we wrap up, as always, I ask all of my guests to please toss out a nugget of hope. So, what would your nugget of hope be for the listeners today?
Can I read a poem?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Did you write it?
I did. So
Oh,
I like to write poems, and I've closed out many of my talks with poems. This is a different poem than I've closed it out with. So this I wrote this at the beginning of the year, and it was just like it was January 1st literally, and it just spoke to me. It's called Today is the Day. It's about time to change your ways. You've been saying tomorrow is the day for far too many days. How many moons must go by before you begin to see that your actions of today will result in the person you want to be? Insanity, they say, is doing the same thing but expecting something different. But no, 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 not you. You want to be magnificent. A word in Latin that means great deeds, but somehow you keep getting bogged down in the weeds. It's time today to change your ways, to commit to the process, even on the days it doesn't pay, even on the days that it rains, even on the days full of pain, even on the days you feel sick. You don't deviate from the standard because that's the whole meaning behind the words, I commit. It's time to lock in because you deserve your best. Others can't cheat you of success because only you were given that test. Ace it for all the broken hearts and aces. Ace it for all the deep scars and smiling faces. Ace it because you, my friend, are destined for greatness. You've got everything you need to accomplish the goal. The only thing holding you back is the person you're afraid to get to know. Look yourself in the mirror and be real with your reflection. You hate rejection, denial, criticism, and objection. You love praise and the pleasure you get from external validation. You love standing ovations from your words of inspiration. You fear uncertainty, but know that in every situation, when you gave it your all, you exceeded your wildest expectations. So step aside, old self. Stop getting in the way. Yesterday you said tomorrow. So today is the day. Mic drop.
mic
Yeah.
drop. Oh, golly. Two times you brought me to tears.
No.
What? Do I really want to have you back on? You just made me cry. That was so awesome. That
Yes,
was
thank
so
you.
awesome. Now, do you write poetry a lot or
Yeah,
regularly?
when I moved to, the words just come to me. I mean, I sat in the bathtub for about 30 minutes and that just like came to me. So, it just
Bathtub shower. The most brilliant
yeah.
ideas
Oh yeah.
come.
Oh yeah. So true. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, do you have a lot of poetry that you've written?
Over the years, yeah, I would say it's a lot.
Put
I
that
mean,
into a book.
that's what I was gonna say. I could probably put it into a book at this point with so
No,
much.
probably about it. Yeah, you can do it. It doesn't have to be a big book. You can make it a
That's
small
true.
book.
Yeah,
You know what I
no,
mean?
there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot.
That's powerful. There's so many nuggets just within that
Mm,
that
yeah,
poem that you shared. That's
thank you.
awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. What an awesome way to close the show out.
Yeah.
I
I
never had
hope,
anybody read poetry before to close it out. Golly.
well, I hope that's a nugget of hope that people can walk away with.
I, well, heck, I grabbed some nuggets out of that one. So I'm sure that anybody listening is going to grab something. And to all of you out there listening, I'm so glad you tuned in today and share this episode because someone you might know could probably benefit from some of the nuggets that were shared. And that's what it's all about, folks, just helping each other, you know? That's what it's all about. Reggie, thank you so much for being my guest today. This has been a true, true blessing. I'm so glad that you were my guest.
I'm thankful for you, Kim. Thank you so much for having me.
You are more than welcome. And I look forward to having you on again next year. And we will do that. Everybody out there listening, thanks so much for spending a small part of your day with myself and Reggie today. As I said earlier, I hope that you grabbed a few of those nuggets of hope that were tossed out throughout the last half hour. This is Kim Langling, the host of Let Fear Bounce. Everybody be well, stay well, and above all, be blessed.
Kindness. It's simple, powerful, and free. Yet, it holds the extraordinary ability to change someone's day or even their life. Order your copy of Nuggets of Hope, Cultivate Kindness on Amazon.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Let Fear Bounce. New episodes drop each week, folks, on YouTube and Spotify and most listening platforms. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all the things. So until next time, folks, take a deep breath, be kind to yourself, and as always, let fear bounce.